There is a rhythm to life that we rarely notice, a subtle pace that is constantly being drowned out by urgency, endless notifications, and the quiet pressure to move faster than our minds can follow. Yet, slowing down is not a luxury. It is the most radical act of freedom you can perform in this world of relentless speed. When you pause deliberately, even for a moment, you begin to see how extreme minimalism transforms not just your space, but your very perception of time, choices, and energy. This isn't about reducing clutter for the sake of aesthetics. It's about stripping away everything that silently drains your focus, your peace, and your ability to experience life fully. In this video, we are revisiting extreme minimalism, taking it deeper, exploring the hidden ways slowing down magnifies its power. You will see how a gentle deceleration allows you to uncover the simplicity beneath the noise, embrace intentional living without struggle, and reclaim the kind of mental clarity that feels almost impossible in modern life. By the end, you'll understand why slowing down is not just a practice, but the essential gateway to living freely, lightly, and without the constant pull of unnecessary stress. In a world that celebrates speed, efficiency, and constant output, the act of slowing down has become almost revolutionary. Yet, it is precisely in this deliberate deceleration that extreme minimalism reveals one of its most profound gifts. When we move at a slower pace, our senses awaken in ways that the hurried life often suppresses. Every thought, every action, every decision gains clarity. Health, both mental and physical, is the first to respond. The body, no longer subjected to relentless stress, begins to regulate itself more harmoniously. Blood pressure steadies, cortisol levels ease, and the fog of mental fatigue begins to lift. This is the quiet alchemy of extreme minimalism at work. By slowing, you allow your internal systems to reset, cultivating resilience that no hurried pursuit of productivity could ever provide. Yet the benefits do not end with health. When the pace of life slackens, we start noticing inefficiencies, waste, and unnecessary obligations that quietly consume time and energy. Money is no longer mindlessly spent, because we begin to see clearly what holds true value and what merely creates distraction. The slow lens of awareness transforms our relationship with resources, guiding us to invest in what enriches life and release what diminishes it. Opportunities, once obscured by the blur of haste, become visible, and decisions made with calm deliberation compound into real prosperity. Perhaps the most subtle yet revolutionary effect is the transformation of the mind itself. By slowing down, we reclaim control over our attention, the most finite of resources. Thoughts become coherent, creativity flourishes, and the constant internal chatter that feeds anxiety softens into something manageable, even beautiful. Relationships deepen as presence replaces reaction, and a profound sense of peace emerges that cannot be manufactured through achievement alone. In this way, extreme minimalism intertwined with the art of slowing down becomes more than a lifestyle choice. It is a conduit for abundant living, not measured by excess, but by the richness of clarity, focus, and mindful freedom that only a decelerated life can reveal. As the mind settles and clarity emerges, we begin to see that wealth is far more than the accumulation of money or possessions. Extreme minimalism, when paired with the deliberate act of slowing down, reveals a kind of abundance that most overlook: the wealth of time, attention, and energy. In the quiet spaces between hurried thoughts and restless routines, we discover opportunities that no spreadsheet or calendar ever reveals. Time, once squandered on endless obligations and distractions, transforms into a tangible resource that can be directed with intention, allowing not just greater productivity, but richer experiences. Every moment becomes a currency, spent wisely on pursuits that feed growth, creativity, and genuine satisfaction. With this heightened awareness comes the ability to discern what truly matters in life. Hasty decisions, impulsive purchases, and empty commitments lose their grip on us, leaving room for investments in people, projects, and passions that cultivate lasting prosperity. Slowing down also rewires the way we relate to success itself. We begin to value depth over breadth, quality over quantity, and long-term fulfillment over fleeting gratification. This is wealth in its most authentic form, resilient, self-sustaining, and aligned with our deepest values. Even financial abundance begins to follow naturally, not through force or urgency, but through conscious alignment. The slow, deliberate pace nurtures foresight and patience, enabling us to make smarter decisions that compound over time. Opportunities for growth, previously unnoticed amidst chaos, appear with clarity, and risks are measured with wisdom rather than anxiety-driven haste. Relationships, too, flourish when we approach them without rush. Time given fully, without distraction, becomes a gift that strengthens trust, understanding, and connection. In essence, slowing down transforms extreme minimalism from a method of reduction into a mechanism for expanding life itself. It teaches us that prosperity is not simply a result of what we acquire, but what we preserve: attention, energy, focus, and peace of mind. By embracing a deliberate, measured pace, we unlock the kind of wealth that endures, not as numbers on a ledger, but as tangible freedom to live richly, lightly, and fully. As wealth of time, energy, and intention settles into our lives, we begin to notice a subtler, yet far more profound transformation: the liberation of the mind. Extreme minimalism, when married to the art of slowing down, does not merely remove distractions, it reshapes the very landscape of thought. The relentless chatter, the constant pull of external demands, the habitual worry about what's next, all begin to soften, revealing a clarity and spaciousness that many spend a lifetime searching for. In this new rhythm, the mind becomes less reactive, less entangled, and more capable of discerning what truly deserves focus. This mental freedom extends beyond mere calm or reduced anxiety. It allows for a kind of creative and emotional expansiveness rarely experienced in the rush of modern life. Ideas can form fully, without being truncated by distraction, and decisions emerge with a depth that impulse can never produce. Emotions, too, are processed more gracefully. Anger loses its intensity when met with deliberate pause. Impatience melts into understanding, and fear no longer dominates action. By slowing down, we grant ourselves the rare opportunity to witness our own thoughts, to respond rather than react, and to engage with life with presence rather than autopilot. The benefits ripple outward, touching every aspect of existence. Productivity, once measured by frantic activity, is now measured by meaningful impact. Relationships deepen, because listening becomes intentional and conversations become richer. Even ordinary moments, walking through a quiet street, preparing a meal, sipping a morning coffee, acquire texture and significance, grounding us in a reality that speed so often erases. Extreme minimalism is no longer just a strategy for reducing clutter. It becomes a pathway to mental sovereignty, an inner sanctuary where clarity, focus, and genuine insight can flourish. In this space, we begin to see life not as a series of tasks to survive, but as a series of experiences to inhabit fully. Slowing down, far from being an indulgence, becomes a radical act of self-possession, a deliberate choice to live consciously, to think with depth, and to navigate the world with a mind liberated from noise and haste. Here, extreme minimalism reveals one of its greatest gifts: the freedom to think, feel, and exist without compromise. With the mind liberated and fully present, we begin to notice a remarkable shift in how we interact with the world, a quiet, almost imperceptible expansion of personal power. Extreme minimalism, when paired with the intentional act of slowing down, transforms not only perception but capability. Freed from the constant pull of haste and distraction, our decisions carry greater weight, our actions gain precision, and our lives begin to align with our deepest values rather than external pressures. This is not power measured by dominance or achievement alone. It is the power to choose, to act with intention, and to inhabit life on one's own terms. Slowing down enhances awareness in ways that ripple across every domain of life. Health, once compromised by chronic stress, flourishes. Creativity, often smothered by relentless busyness, emerges effortlessly. Even the flow of wealth and opportunity begins to respond to the clarity and composure cultivated in this deliberate pace. It is as if the world itself conspires to match the rhythm of those who move intentionally, granting space where there was once chaos, and revealing paths that were hidden behind the veil of rush. The choices we make are no longer reactive, shaped by fear or urgency, but deliberate, strategic, and deeply aligned with what matters most. Relationships, too, are strengthened in this slow cadence. The ability to listen without interruption, to respond without haste, and to invest presence rather than fleeting attention fosters trust and intimacy that cannot be engineered through busyness. Personal boundaries become clear, and with clarity comes confidence, a quiet, enduring kind of authority rooted in self-possession rather than assertion. Ultimately, slowing down transforms extreme minimalism from a lifestyle into a conduit for authentic empowerment. It teaches that true strength is not measured by speed, accumulation, or noise, but by the calm precision of a mind and life fully engaged. The deliberate deceleration reveals the subtle yet profound truth that when we slow down, we are not falling behind. We are moving closer to the life we were always capable of living, one defined by focus, intention, freedom, and personal mastery. As personal power strengthens and our lives align with intention, we arrive at perhaps the most profound reward of all, the subtle, liberating freedom that comes from living at a pace chosen deliberately. Extreme minimalism, when intertwined with slow living, uncovers a reality often hidden beneath the rush of modern life. A life where every moment, every choice, and every interaction carries meaning, depth, and resonance. This freedom is not flashy or ostentatious. It is quiet, enduring, and deeply sustaining. It allows us to navigate the world without being pulled by invisible currents of urgency, obligation, or social expectation. In this slowed rhythm, we discover that happiness is no longer dependent on accumulation or constant motion, but on presence and clarity. Stress, once chronic and unavoidable, dissipates because our attention is no longer fragmented by the endless noise of distraction. The mind, body, and spirit synchronize in a subtle harmony, and life begins to feel less like a race and more like a carefully composed journey. Opportunities for growth, prosperity, and connection present themselves naturally, not as forced outcomes, but as byproducts of a life lived deliberately. Even our sense of identity deepens. By observing our choices, understanding our desires, and acting with intention rather than reflex, we reclaim ownership of our lives. Emotional resilience grows, creativity flourishes, and the quiet confidence that emerges from being fully present becomes a force that radiates into every interaction and decision. Extreme minimalism, therefore, becomes more than a method of simplification. It evolves into a philosophy of liberation, offering a blueprint for living fully without the constant burden of excess or haste. Ultimately, the act of slowing down is the gateway to experiencing extreme minimalism in its truest form. It teaches us that freedom is not something granted externally, but something cultivated internally through clarity, presence, and mindful choice. By embracing this pace, we uncover a life of unshakable calm, profound focus, and limitless possibility. A life where everything that truly matters is visible, attainable, and fully savored. By embracing the subtle freedom that comes from living at an intentional pace, we arrive at the full promise of extreme minimalism, a life uncluttered not just in space, but in thought, energy, and focus. Slowing down is not a retreat from the world, but a reclamation of it, a way to move through life with clarity, purpose, and presence, experiencing each moment fully and without compromise. It transforms how we think, how we act, and how we connect with the people and experiences that truly matter, revealing a richness that haste and excess can never provide. If this perspective resonates, there is a wealth of insight waiting to expand your journey further. On this channel, countless explorations into extreme minimalism, microtopia, and hollow era await, offering new ways to refine your environment, your habits, and your mind. Each video builds on the philosophy we've shared today, providing practical guidance, thoughtful reflection, and fresh ideas to help you live freely, lightly, and intentionally. Take the time to wander through these playlists, absorb their lessons, and let them transform the way you approach life, one mindful choice at a time. By continuing to explore, reflect, and apply, you allow extreme minimalism to fully unfold its transformative power, turning simplicity into profound freedom and presence into unshakable peace.